In the finale against Arizona, Jack Leiter struggled early, but he found it late and dominated late on in this one. What did the rest of the team do? Not much.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a criminally addicted Texas Rangers fan covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about Jack Leiter continuing to dominate and get better and better as the year progresses. The hitters, unfortunately, regressing at a really not optimal time, and the final spot in this AL wildcard picture might just be a mid-off. Before we get into all that, this episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Master tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. Now, Jack Leiter in this one, it looked like it might be a little bit of a struggle for Leiter, who gave up 2 runs in the first couple of innings, one of which I don't think should have been earned since it technically scored on a play where an error happened. But after those first 2 innings, Jack Leiter really buckled down and just straight up bullied this Arizona Diamondbacks team. I mean, bullied in a way that no pitcher in this series had really done to this Diamondbacks team. I mean, this is a great Diamondbacks offense, and the reason that they have lost so many games is not because of their bats. No. Definitely not because of their bats. Definitely not because of Geraldo Perdomo or Ketel Marte or Corbin Carroll or Gabriel Moreno, Alec Thomas. I mean, this lineup is just stacked full of guys who are really, really good hitters. And after just a little bit, not even that much of a rough first couple innings, Jack Leiter ends up getting out of it. Could have been a little bit worse, could have been a little bit better. I mean, the defense saved a run on an infield assist by Ezekiel Duran, getting Ketel Marte out at home on a really, really great throw by Zeke Duran, and a great relay throw initially by Alejandro Ozuna out there in right field. And then an error by Jake Berger allows the second run to score. And then after that second inning, this is the best I've ever seen Jack Leiter. This looked like pissed off Jack Leiter. This looked like Jack Leiter saying, I'm better than these guys. I'm better than these results. And whatever he did, it was an in-start change. This is one of the most difficult things to do as a starting pitcher, especially as a rookie starting pitcher. I mean, I've talked about it a lot this season of Jack Leiter. I mean, we've all seen this stuff. I mean, you throw 99 and not just a regular 99, 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, it has got some special properties. The changeup has really kicked up, pun fully intended, over the last couple of starts. The slider has always been a good pitch, and the curveball is a work in progress that I think could eventually be maybe a plus pitch if he works a little bit more on it. But, with how good the four-seam fastball is, with him mixing in that sinker a little bit more, dialing that pitch mix in to a really, really good point in this one. This was just bully ball in that third inning. He just straight up bullied Ketel Marte in that third inning with the strikeout. That was one of the best at-bats I've ever seen Jack Leiter had. Pitch 1, called strike, 97 miles an hour, down and in at the very bottom of the zone. Gets a generous call that he had not been getting all game long. I don't even want to talk about the super generous call that Zach Gallen ended up getting on Jock Peterson to call him out on the third strike. That was both an inch or two below the zone and maybe even an inch or two off the plate. But then pitch number 2 goes back to the fastball, 98.6 miles an hour inside, right at the knees, but well inside. Ketel Marte swings through it. He has no shot at it. Pitch number 3, up 0-2 in the count, throws a slider that just is barely below the zone, a perfect pitch. He's only able to foul it off, and then he rears back, still up 0-2 in this count, dials up 98.7 miles per hour at the top of the zone, touching the top of the zone. Probably would have been a called strike even if Ketel Marte took it. He foul tips it into the mid, and he just had it blown by him. I mean, this is what dominant pitchers do. This is not just what pretty good pitchers do. This is a level of dominance against a hitter who has absolutely annihilated the Texas Rangers this year. Ketel Marte has played in 6 games against the Rangers this year. He's got 4 home runs, 10 ribbies, hitting .360, a 1309 OPS. I mean, he has been just untouchable in this one. And even early on, I mean, Jack Leiter did end up walking Ketel Marte on 4 pitches. Maybe he was pitching a little timid because Ketel Marte has maybe with these, he's had 4 home runs and they've all been game breakers. They have all been pretty much the difference. And well, at least 3 out of those 4 home runs have been game winning home runs by Ketel Marte in games that the Rangers needed to win. Just like this one was a game that the Texas Rangers needed to win. And Jack Leiter did his part. I mean, asking him to be perfect was a bit too much. This offense could not do anything. We'll talk about them in the second segment, but I want to focus on Jack Leiter in this one. But the ability to make a change mid-start, we've seen him, start to make changes, from start to start. We've seen him start to improve a little bit more, each time. I mean, the first month of the season, he was incredible. Those first 3 starts, I mean, truly, those first 2, he was just untouchable. I mean, against the Red Sox when he went, 5 innings of 1-run ball, and then that start against Cincinnati, that might have been the best we've ever seen Jack Leiter before he landed on the IL for basically a month. At that point, he struggled a little bit in May, struggled a little bit in June as well. But in July and in August, and now in this first start in September, Jack Leiter has been just flat out awesome. Over his last 7 starts, I mean, the guy has been pretty much almost untouchable. I mean, a 2.80 ERA in those 7 starts, somehow only 2-2 because the Rangers have not been able to really give him a whole lot of run support in this one. I mean, him being tagged with a loss in this one just feels criminally unjust at this. And I love how Jack Leiter followed up that at-bat against Ketel Marte by dominating Corbin Carroll, a 4-pitch strikeout with, 2 whiffs, 1 a foul tip, 1 a swinging strike, and 1 called strike. What should have been called strike, honestly, the ball 1 could have been called strike 3 if the umpire was a little bit more generous with that zone. But I think I think my favorite at-bat of this whole game was against Geraldo Perdomo, a 3-pitch strikeout with 2 called strikes and a swinging strike 3, because this is the best the fastball has looked, maybe ever. He was really riding that four-seam fastball against lefties and using the sinker a lot more against right-handed batters. There's a lot of lefties in this lineup, so he was a little bit more four-seam fastball heavy, 46 four-seam fastballs of the 99 pitches that he threw. He got so many swings and misses, 9 swings and misses, a 39% whiff rate, also had 6 called strikes. When he's going right, he's able to get that four-seam fastball over 4 called strikes on any side of the plate, and occasionally he's able to just rip it down the middle because it's so darn good that not a whole lot of hitters can really do much with it. But the fastball, he's been establishing it all game long. And then here we are in the bottom of the 5th inning, still down 2-0, still battling back, keeping this Rangers team in it. Very much could have been a win. Very easily could have been a win had a couple of things gone a different way. But against Geraldo Perdomo, the 3rd time that he's seeing him, starts him out with a called strike on the slider over the middle of the plate. Little bit of a hanging pitch, but he wasn't ready for it. He was establishing the fastball, so Perdomo was probably sitting fastball. He didn't see a fastball. He recognized spin, said, okay, I'm going to let this go out of the zone. Nope, it's in the zone. Then follows that up with a called strike of the curveball, a really good pitch towards the bottom of the zone, and he's ahead 0-2 in the count. And Geraldo Perdomo has been sitting, waiting for that fastball for these first 2 pitches. I'm pretty sure it looked like he was sitting fastball. He was just caught off guard by the breaking stuff being called strikes. So thinks, okay, all right, I'm down 0-2 in the count. What? I'm probably going to see a fastball. He's probably going to, blow a fastball by me up in the zone. He's been, trying to slow my bat path down, trying to get me, not prepared for the fastball. And Jack Leiter says, no, you're not even going to see a fastball in this at bat. Throws a perfect changeup, up 0-2 in the count. Geraldo Perdomo swings through it and looks horrible while doing so. Bing, bang, boom. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. You don't even see a freaking fastball and you can't do anything with it. That is baller stuff. That is chutzpah stuff that we had not seen from Jack Leiter. We have been waiting for this kind of progression for Jack Leiter, and he's finally showing it. Since the All-Star break, he's got a 2.66 ERA in 9 starts. The strikeouts per 9 are way up. Before the All-Star break, he had a 4.37 ERA in 16 starts. He had under 8 strikeouts per 9. Now he's at nearly 11 strikeouts per 9. This is the kind of strikeout stuff. This is the kind of dominating stuff. And not just that, but it's the innings that he's pitching in these games. He is going, quality start after quality start after quality start. This is the kind of stuff you love to see from a young pitcher that the Rangers have not had. I have been dying for a good, young, homegrown starting pitcher. And when the Rangers took 2 back-to-back with the number 2 and number 3 picks in that 2021 and 2022 draft, you thought, okay, surely at least one of these guys might be that. And then when you saw Alejandro Rosario coming up last year before he went on the IL and has disappeared off the face of the earth, you thought, okay, maybe he is a competent to good, even maybe good homegrown starting pitcher. We saw Cody Bradford do it. He's going to be out for basically 2 years after a really good first half, and then stuff derailed him there. I mean, it's been so long since the Rangers had a competent, let alone good, homegrown starting pitcher. And I don't want to jinx it, but right now, Jack Leiter is looking like not just competent, not just back into the rotation homegrown starting pitcher, but a freaking baller, possible top of the rotation starting pitcher. And yeah, he's still just a rookie. But that's enough of the good that happened in this one. There is a lot of bad that happened in this one, mainly with these stinking bats. We're talking about that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it on with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings back the iconic taste of golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power you through your day, 5 Hour Energy Transform delivers the clubhouse favorite you love without ever having to leave the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavored 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes Masters Tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. Shout out to the Everydayers for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be talking about this weekend series against those stinking Houston Astros, probably the biggest series of the year, which will only be followed by 2 more huge series. I mean, every series from now until the end of the season is just absolutely massive. Every win is absolutely crucial. And the Rangers offense, somebody tell them that. I know that they are short-staffed, and it's been fun watching these kids rally and not know better. I mean, it kind of does feel a little bit similar. I heard someone compare this Rangers team to the 2024 Detroit Tigers. And I mean, no, yes, no, maybe, because the Rangers don't have Tarek Skubal, but they also do, well, they should have a better offense than the 2024 Detroit Tigers. But right now, at this specific moment, it does feel similar because the Tigers were powered by the best pitcher on the planet, a really good bullpen. Rangers don't quite have that right now. They got a really good rotation. The bullpen has been solid all season. It's faltering for sure now. But the bats, they were full of rookies and youngsters who just didn't know any better. I mean, their playoff odds were minuscule at this point last year, the Detroit Tigers. And the Rangers, their odds aren't quite minuscule. They're a little bit better. I mean, according to FanGraphs, their odds, I think, right now are below 10%. According to Baseball Reference, which has been pretty high on the Rangers after these 2 losses, they're down to 35.9% chance to make this postseason. But a lot of the offense over the last, over that win streak of 9 wins in 10 games, now they are just 7-3 in their last 10. And had they won a couple more, had they won both these games, they would be right now on top of the Seattle Mariners and holding that final wild card spot. Alas, because they dropped these two, they did. This was a game where the Rangers could have and should have done a whole lot more offensively. Now, you got to give credit to the other side a little bit of Zach Gallen, who has been on a heater since the trade deadline when the Arizona Diamondbacks didn't trade him because nobody wanted him because he had been terrible to that point in the season. But since the trade deadline, he has been significantly better. His last 7 starts, he has a 2.2 ERA, a 2.20 ERA in 41 innings, basically averaging 6 innings per start. And he is just not allowed very many runs. And then the Rangers get to this bullpen down just 2 runs because Jack Leiter did an exceptional job in this one, as did Robert Garcia. 5 batters, 5 outs, 2 strikeouts, no funny business for him. He has been really, really good in low leverage spots. I wish he was that good in high leverage spots because then the Rangers might have won a couple more games against some crucial opponents. Alas, that was not the case. And then Chris Martin comes in and finishes it out. Rangers give up 3 hits and they lose in this one. 3 hits in the entire game. That's all they gave up. And they lost because this offense only had 5 hits. They had 3 walks and they were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They left 9 guys on base. They had so many different chances and a bunch of toot plans too. They nearly had 2 toot plans in 1 inning, but shout out to Zeke Duran, who I thought was about to be thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop right after Alejandro Ozuna got way too big of a secondary lead. And instead of him being at second base the entire inning, he gets thrown out at third because he just was not being a smart base runner, despite him being a smart batter. I mean, he had a hit in this one. He worked a couple of walks. I mean, he was 3 of the Rangers' 8 base runners in this one. But alas, the Rangers could not do much the rest of it. And Zeke Duran getting an obstruction call, rounding second base and ending up at third base. It didn't end up mattering because the Rangers just could not get a hit with runners in scoring position. But still, this was just so incredibly frustrating. They were 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position in these last 2 games combined. Just one more hit here or there could have been the difference in this game. Heck, in the game before it, the Rangers didn't even need to get hits with runners in scoring position. They had so many times where they had a couple of times where they had a runner at third base with fewer than 2 outs, and they just could not get him home. They could not just small ball, base running their way into a run. And in this one, they couldn't do that either. It was just incredibly infuriating. And the most infuriating part is that it was mostly against a bullpen that's not that good. I mean, Andrew Saalfrank got an inning, and he's been great. The Rangers were able to get a base runner off him. He's got a 1.16 ERA on the season. But the guys who they're throwing out there in the 7th and the 9th innings, I mean, Woodford, the Rangers just were able to score on him. He has a near 5 ERA. They're throwing him out there to close a game. You're down only 2 runs. Only 2 runs against one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball. Ryan Thompson had a 4.2 ERA after this one. Got a couple of outs. I mean, John Curtis, a 3.5 ERA. He was able to get an out. I mean, this Rangers offense just could not rally. They could not string hits together against Zach Gallen, who is a fine pitcher, but they couldn't score 1 off it. 2 runs, 3 runs, and this one wins it. 3 runs wins it for sure. The way Jack Leiter was pitching, he was absolutely locked in this one, and he gave this team every chance to win. And the offense, yet again, just couldn't. I mean, there were a couple of near misses. I mean, some good play. It's not like every plate appearance was just a bad plate appearance. And heck, there was a fly out from Wyatt Langford that in a different ballpark would have been a game tying homer. Maybe this one ends up going to extras and things go different. In that 6th inning, he had a fly in the 5th inning, to end it after a Josh Smith walk, actually an Alejandro Ozuna single and then a Josh Smith walk with 2 outs. Could have been a 3-run homer. Could have been the difference in this game. Hits a ball really hard, but just a bit too high. 98 miles an hour off the bat, a 35-degree launch angle, just a bit too high. Ends up flying out on the warning track. I know it only had a 220 expected batting average, but I mean, he worked himself into a good count, got a 3-1 count, got a fastball at the top of the zone, but was just underneath it. Would have been a homer in 14 of 30 ballparks, including, not Texas and not this one, which is all that matters at this point. It just was not enough this time out. And the Rangers, because the Mariners lost again, they were swept by the Tampa Bay Rays, who are not in, or kind of in Tampa Bay, the transient Tampa Bay Rays, just like the transient, no longer Oakland A's. The Rangers could have, if they had swept this series, which they very easily could have. I mean, the hardest game to win was that game on Monday that they actually ended up winning. This was a very winnable game. The game on Tuesday was a very winnable game. Both these games, had they had slightly competent offense, I mean, they had some really, really good pitching from both of these performances, from Jacob Latz, who was let down by his bullpen, and Jack Leiter, who was let down by his offense. This should have been, at the very least, a series win. Should have been 5 out of 6 games taken on this road trip. Instead, it's just barely a winning road trip, going 4-6 in games against a team that is out of it. They're out of it. They have no aspirations, and I'm sure a lot of these players still hold some grudges against the Rangers for that 2023 World Series. I'm betting Ketel Marte is definitely still pissed about that 2023 World Series, the way he's rounding the bases and taking jump shots after second base. I mean, I'm not old school by any means. I don't approve throwing at guys, but maybe a mean stare, maybe a fart noise at him while he's rounding third base after doing that jump shot stuff. I mean, I'd be embarrassed with my team if they were taking jump shots in a lost season, like, hey, look at me. Here's me patting my own individual stats. Ketel Marte is an amazing player, and I'm usually very pro this. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why it's stuck in my craw. It's because the Rangers were losing this game, and we're losing that last game, and they should be winning. And that's why it pissed me off, because Ketel Marte, incredible player, normally was the downfall. It was the downfall of the Texas Rangers in 3 of their 4 losses against these Arizona Diamondbacks. But in this one, it was not Ketel Marte's fault. It was not Jack Leiter's fault. This one is squarely on the offense yet again. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about this AL wildcard picture. What's left to do with one of the last off days of the season? Talk about that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like catching a live baseball game. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting the tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes all the fun out of it. That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and it's backed by the Gametime guarantee. So you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all the fees are included. So the price you see is the price you actually pay. A couple weeks ago, I took my girlfriend to a Frisco Rough Riders game. They had an incredible deal on some really great seats. Got to go see Sebastian Walcott play in person. Got to go see Cam Cauley play in person. It was a great time at the Frisco Rough Riders game, and getting tickets to it was so easy because of the Gametime app. So download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Shout out to the Everydayers for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day after every single game. Jeff Figgs is with you with the Locked On Rangers postcast coming to you live after all 162. It's going to be a big weekend for Jeff in the Locked On Rangers postcast, reacting live to all of these games against the Houston Astros. Again, I'll talk more previewing this series on tomorrow's show. Probably talk a little bit about the minors as well, but it's in your Locked On Rangers podcast feeds on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Now, the Rangers still have a chance. They are still in it for some reason or another. They are trailing the Seattle Mariners, who have been falling like a ton of bricks, just getting swept in, mostly battered and embarrassed by these Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they got their butts kicked on Monday's game. They got their teeth knocked out in this latest game. It ended up looking a lot closer than it was, but the Mariners were down 9-0, right? 8-0 after 2 innings. I mean, they were getting just singled to death in this one. This Mariners team, I really don't think they're that good. I don't. I don't know if this Raiders team is that good either. I'm not saying that, the Raiders are so much better. Clearly, I don't know that they are. I mean, in terms of record wise, head to head, Mariners have kicked the teeth in on these Texas Rangers at home, on the road, in Seattle, in Texas. They could play in Mississippi, and the Mariners this year would beat the brakes off of the Rangers because that's just how it's gone this year. But against everybody else, I guess the Seattle Mariners team is just a bucket of mid. I mean, we've seen it for years and years and years. The Seattle Mariners, they've had some really good teams over the last, 4 or 5 seasons. They've had incredible starting pitching for the most part, and for the most part, some lackluster offenses. This year, they're kind of flippity flopped. It's kind of like they have flippity flopped with the Rangers. Like their pitching staff has been, the starting pitchers have been kind of mediocre to disappointing, which is wild because I thought the Mariners had pretty clearly the best pitching rotation heading into the season. Now that's Texas Rangers. They've added some offense. They added basically half of the Diamondbacks roster. It felt like half of their infield at least in Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor, and Julio Rodriguez is having a really good season. Cal Raleigh is having a historic season. They got a bunch of other really good hitters. Jorge Polanco has been doing well. I mean, JP Crawford has been doing pretty well. Their bullpen, they've got some really great guys in the 8th and 9th inning. Outside of that, it's a little bit shakier for that Mariners squad. But for all that to say, they're only a plus 11 run differential team. Plus 11. It's not that much. I mean, the Astros are not much better. They almost fumbled it away last night in a game where it was just a fumble off last night in the Astros-Yankees game. I mean, the Yankees had a tie game, and then their bullpen, which has been just historically problematic as of late, just continued to be even more problematic against the New York Yankees or against the Houston Astros. And then the Astros had a 4-run lead heading into that 9th inning. They scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and then they gave up 3 runs in the top of the 9th. The Yankees nearly came back and forced extra innings in this one. It was just an ugly game back and forth. And the Astros, for as good as they've played, they only have a plus 15 run differential. The Rangers have a plus 90. Plus 90. The expected wins-loss record, if this season had gone as expected, or at least as the runs scored versus runs given up had expected, the Texas Rangers would be, cruising to an AOS title. They'd be 81-60. 81-60, 9 games better than they actually are right now because they keep losing these stupid games because the offense just continues to poop and poop and poop the bed. Now, hopefully, this offense will be getting some help in the near future. Adolis Garcia is going to try and play this weekend against the Houston Astros, despite having a grade 2 quad strain, which could take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to heal. I absolutely do not think he's going to be playing the field, but I bet they're going to try and DH him just to get some of that magic in his bat against the Houston Astros, whom he owns and has owned, and hopefully will continue to own this weekend in a series that is just so crucial for this Texas Rangers squad. Right now, they sit a game and a half back in that wild card race against the Seattle Mariners. They are even further back against the other higher up wild card teams like the Boston Red Sox. They are 6 games back at the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees. They've lost the season series to both Seattle and the Yankees, so they need to be better than either of those teams if they want to make it on the tiebreaker. They've won the series against the Red Sox, so I guess we're cheering against the Red Sox. I mean, the teams behind them too are not, totally backing down. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Rays, they've been on an absolute heater as of late. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're on a 6-game winning streak, including 3 straight wins over the Seattle Mariners. But they're just a game behind the Rangers at this point. They have surpassed the Cleveland Guardians. It is basically 3 horses that are chasing the Mariners for this final wild card spot. And I think somebody's going to catch them. I don't know who it's going to be. If it's going to be the Rangers, if it's going to be the Royals, if it's going to be the Rays, because the Rangers, game and a half out. Royals, 2.5 games out. Rays, 2.5 games out. The Rangers, I believe, have won the season series against, or they have tied the season series against the Rays. I think they swept them at home and then got swept in George M. Steinbrenner Field. And they've lost the season series to the Royals, so they need to be better than the Royals. I mean, so many different teams that they have lost the season series to that are just right here in this mix. But if I were to provide a little bit of hope, which I like to do occasionally, the team who they have not lost the season series to, well, there's a couple of them. they have won the season series against the Detroit Tigers by a pretty wide margin. I don't think the Rangers are going to catch up all the way there, even if they do somehow, against all odds, win the AL West for the first time since 2016, I believe it has been, which I believe was the last team to win the AL West that wasn't the Houston Astros in a 162 game season. Shout out to the 2020 Oakland A's, who did win an AL West title over the Astros in that shortened season. But the Rangers have not lost the tiebreaker to the Houston Astros at this point. They haven't. They possibly can in these next 6 games that they have against them in the next 2 weeks. It's possible, but it's also possible that they win the season series. All they have to do is get 3 wins out of 6 games, and they win the season series. They have already won. They split the first 4-game series, and they won 2 on the road in Houston. Probably should have won all 3. Honestly, probably could have mopped the Astros and already won the season series at this point, had some of those games gone a little bit better. That goes back into that expected wins-loss record of these close games that the Rangers probably could have and should have won early on in the season and even late on in this season, that they just need to keep on winning. They need to rekindle that magic being back at home, where this team has been basically unstoppable all season long at home. Maybe this kicks off something big. 3 games against the Astros, 3 games against the Brewers, then 3 more games against the Mets, and then 3 against the Astros. I mean, every single game from now until the end of the season is absolutely massive. And pooping the bed in this one, a game they could have, should have, would have won had the offense not been so terrible. It makes it all that more frustrating. But that's going to do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.